Hey, what's up guys, Yin Dragon here, and I'm welcoming you all in my next episode of my Payday 2 Armory. In today's episode, where we cover up the Italian Beretta 92 FS, or sometimes I like to call it the M9, which is a more, well, the Beretta 92 is a designed version of the M9, and is definitely a weapon that designed to replace the M1911 as the United States Army signature pistol of choice. Of course, it was in service in 1976 and it's still been used today. It has the manufacturer of, sorry, I'm probably gonna butcher it, Fabbrica di Armory Beretta. Of course, this is mostly of course, since it has the word Beretta, which is the oldest weapon manufacturer in the world. And of course, it's been produced in 1976, and it's present. It made basically 3.5 million were built. So that's a lot of pistols to go around. Of course, the more popular one, recognizable with the M9, of its the 15 round mag capacity of 9 by 19 millimeter pellet round, and of course the little green night sights. Of course, have been used throughout the war and still a very popular handgun. So let's look at the stats. For the solo versions, the magazine capacity is 14 rounds, which is incorrect, which is supposed to hold 15 rounds. Total ammo of 154, rate of fire of 408, damage of 37, accuracy of 56, stability of 60, concealment of 30, threat of 6, and reload time of 2.1 seconds. And that's for the Kindle version, since these are different with the skills. So I'll just go followed by magazine of 28 for both, total ammo 168, rate of fire of 667, damage of 47, accuracy of 52, stability of 24. And I didn't say 60 because when you equip akimbo weapons, for some reason, you lose stability. I guess they don't want to make it too much powerful than the solo versions. Concealment of 28, surprisingly. Threat of 6, and reload time of 4 seconds. Yeah, surprisingly, there's a concealment of 28. While the M9, the solo versions, are 30. Like, huh? I'm confused. I did not know that. Well, you learn something every day, I guess. Alright, now we'll look at the model of the Beretta pistol. And of course, bear in mind, I will call it the M9 because it's been stuck with me since COD 4. So, by the looks of it, it's a nice little black design. Of course, we have a lot of readings here, a lot of serial numbers, which I can't really read the thing on the lower receiver right below the barrel. It looks like some type of serial number. And then we have more serial number right on the trigger guard. It says FG. I believe it says .68, either 68 or 92 or 8 or BR. I have no clue. And of course, on the upper receiver, the slide, we see the word pistol. Looks like an S9S or B9S. Which I think the B stands for Beretta, the 9 is the model in the the model 92, and the S for semi-automatic. Looks it says department. And of course, it says made in USA, so probably a Beretta, American Beretta company made the M9. And of course, we have our little fire selector. We have the red button, which sets on fire, and if you put the select fire, basically cover up the red, the weapon will be on safe. And of course, on the pistol grip itself, you can see the arrows, like the 3 arrows. Those is a symbol of represent Beretta, of its logo. And of course, we have the hammer at the back where you can cock it when you're ready to fire, and it does get the, of course, the prime where it shoots the bullet out. Of course, we have another ambidextrous fire selector. Notice how different these are, considering that most people will operate the fire selector with the left hand. When it comes to the left hand, and you have the left side, so for ambidextrous and that, or for lefties. And now we got more readings of the serial number. Okay, I found looks like a much better word. Looks like there it says MR, so it sounds like it's saying like Mr. .709. It's really hard to tell by the textures because they're not really the greatest, and the lighting doesn't help. But of course, on the the lower receiver on top, above the slide or below the slide, it says Bruce LCW free. And of course, we have the model. Looks like a model B9S, caliber 9 palibarum, and of course we have the company where it was made from, or the location it is, and of course we have the familiar green night sights, which I think this is one of the more highlights with the pistol, which I do love the green sights on these guns. And of course, on right below the trigger guard, right next to the Beretta symbol, of course, have our magazine release switch, which of course would drop the mag, and you could just load a new one. And now we can look at the attachments for the M9. Of course, you can pick any suppressor you want. It does come with 2 unique compensators. So we got the competitor's compensator, which is kind of funny because you can't really put the competitor's compensator on the pistols. And then we got the professional compensator. Definitely look a little more different. Pretty interesting. Any boost you want, but there's something so unique to it, and that is a plus free concealment. Along with the Walther PPK and the Taurus Bull, which is the revolver, or if you can't know what I'm talking about, I'm saying their real life names, which are basically the Gruberkurz and the Bronco revolver. They get a plus free concealment boost, which I have no idea why only these weapons. I think it's due to the fact that these are just either weaker damage, and the revolver, I guess they want to make it a little more unique at the same time. But yeah, you get a plus free concealment as opposed to a +1, so it's a pretty big bonus. We could have our gadgets, and of course, when you have put on gadget, it's of course, this is where it actually lashes to the top. Core just latches to the top. That's where you fit, even though it does not look like you could put it on. There is a little bit gravings on the part of the pistols that you can hold, and there's actually an extra accessory they actually added, and I can't really read more because it's very small and hard to tell, but it's a nice little accessory when you're putting on the gadget. Now for grips, it's very different. You get the Ergo grip and the Engrave Bernetti grips, which they both increase both stability, but it's also terms of the looks. So with this one, looks pretty stylish. And with this type of grip, kind of reminds me of the M93 Rafika, which is the burst fire version of this pistol, which does appear on the PC, but sadly I'm playing this on, well, showing you these on consoles, so I don't have access to this pistol, sadly. But I also noticed when you have the Ergo grip, notice that there's like a big, like a horseshoe shape right on the gun. And that's normally where you would have your, basically where your thumb, usually where you hang around. And of course, on the right side, you don't have that. So this is definitely a grip made for, well, righties. And then we have the Engrave Bernetti grips, which is definitely more for stylish than ever. And I have to say, this looks beautiful. This looks amazing. Of course, it says custom grip. It says Bernetti. And of course, you have these roses and all these little gold color to it. And of course, on the right side, it says the same thing. So it's definitely more for cosmetic look. But if I had to pick between the two, I say these one looks good on the Akimbos, while these one look good on a solo version. As for magazine, of course we have 12 rounds, which I would think it would be perfect to have 20 rounds instead, but that's perfectly fine. For sights, it does come with its well, more of a, of course, more added, basically an upgraded iron sights, which basically transformed the M9 to having these sights instead. Of course, increased accuracy and stability, but I actually much rather like to have the green sights. Plus, I've been seeing these sights a lot, way too many times. And of course, when equipping on the pistol sight, it's just really on top of the gun, which I'm not really sure how this would actually add, or able to hold it in place. And then we have the Elite Slide. And yes, there is a lower receiver slide, but sadly the console don't have it. But the upper receiver, it actually changed the name of the gun, and we can see much more clearly now of the name of the place, and this looks pretty nice in silver. And it actually looks pretty nice. So yeah, for the low receiver, it will be in the same color as the Elite Slide. And I can show you my fully decked out, well, both of these pistols. For the Akimbo versions, let's see where I can find it. Here it is, here's the Akimbo versions. Okay, I know I did say these look good, the grips look better on the Akimbo versions, but that was, I put these up just like years ago, and it looks pretty nice. I mean, very concealed. Of course, with more skills, I would have it maxed it out. And as for the M9, I think that's when I have the other grip around. Let's see if I can find it. It should be, there it is, and looks much more better. And of course, you can tell by my stats, I have basically increased in every department. In terms of magazine, damage, stability, concealment. It's pretty insane. Of course, it will be even more insane when I have the skills, but after all, I want to cover the weapon in its base stats, and don't worry about the whole total ammo and damage increase, because those will not affect the weapons in terms of its performance. Well, that's quite a talk about the M9. And now let's test these weapons at the firing range. See you then. Okay, welcome back guys to the firing range where I'll be firing with the M9, and I had to say I love the green sights. They are very nice despite being very blurry. I can actually still acquire my targets very effectively. So let's get this set up. Alright, going loud. Not bad. Of course, the accuracy could be a little bit better, but it's, of course, makes it better. At least it's not high recoil. So, of course, test 2 would be try to, well, let the recoil go free and fly, run free. Oh, sounds like freaking Traeger from Outlast when he trying to make you go out, able to get some fresh air, but you're stuck in a rear chair. Sad story. Okay, it definitely has some vertical recoil, but due to the gun basically blocking it, I did not see the actual visual rounds hit a little bit horizontal to the left. So I figured for test 3 will be quite interesting. Now this time I'll try to control the recoil as it goes. Here we go. At most point, I figure I did more harm than actually good, and now I create like a force shape out of that door, which is not bad. But of course, you can see it goes all over the place. I go a little bit at the bottom and a little bit diagonally to the horizontal to a little bit to the right. But yeah, now it's time for, well, you see me with one M9. Now I have two M9s. Wouldn't that make it an M18? Huh? Oh well. Alright. Double the fun. Now you can definitely see the stability goes through the roof after I spam a couple shots with the akimbos. And I can tell you right now, it's not going to be pretty with these previous two tests. So, alright, here we go. Test 2, I'll fire the weapon without controlling the recoil. Here goes. Yeah, you did definitely see me. I try to spam as much as I can, and I think at the point where the weapon cap fire has been reached, it resets me back to here, so I continue my firing again. And by the looks of it, I didn't really pay attention, but I could probably, maybe I did hit over the pipe, but then I just went all the way back down again after the fire cap has been reached. And of course, there's a skill for the pistol to increase your rate of fire, which makes it already, the pistols already that potent and powerful on the highest difficulty, and even better than a handful of the assault rifles and SMGs. Alright, now we have test 3, where I'm now gonna try to control it this time. Hopefully I can take it down a notch. Going loud. Well, not really the best grouping, but definitely I got all my rounds stayed in the door. It didn't try and go up over the brick. It was pretty challenging. It was pretty okay, but if I would have a higher rate of fire, I think the recoil would be a lot more different, including with the attachments. After all, these tests here I'm doing, it just helps to get control with these weapons. And of course, I'm using a controller, so I'm pretty sure a mouse and keyboard would probably do a little bit better. But for now, I'm still very comfortable with a controller than a mouse and keyboard. Alright, now it's time to bring out my fully decked out M9s. See you in a sec. Fully decked out M9, and you can see it looks really different compared to the base version of it, which is all black. And here's the Akimbo versions, which, like I did say, this looks way better when it comes to having that custom Bernetti grips. So, yep, so if you want to see a little bit more, just equip the Akimbo version to see the grip. Or you can grip both, it doesn't really matter, but... Alright, let's test this out. Okay, that was a lot of rounds than usual. Of course, it was much more controllable in single shot thanks to the accuracy, but since the accuracy kind of stayed the same, I think what's helped is just the stability. Alright, now time for test 2. I'll see how the recoil goes. Going hot. Very tight group. It's not really going anywhere. I did got like about 3 shots, a little bit a bit above the top of where I aim at. But so good so far. Alright, test 3. Let's see how it is when I'm trying to control the recoil this time. Well, I dare to say it is definitely a lot an improvement over the base version, thanks for having so much of the stability increasing. And now I can show you off the Akimbo versions, which I don't have the marksman sight, so I don't get increased stability or accuracy, so these will work a little bit differently. So here we go. Alright, definitely had some recoil control, and of course one of the bullets actually hit between the garage door and the brick wall. And now for test 2, I'll just let these recoils do their thing, and we can see how much do I need to control it for test 3. Going hot. Funny enough, this looks better than the preview test, or just testing out the weapon. And funny enough, I don't see any bullets hitting the brick wall. All of it's just stayed there, just like one in the shadow just before it disappears. Alright, now for test 3, I'll try to control the recoil this time. Okay, like, it really doesn't take really much effort because I just have to pull down just a little bit and the recoil will just basically do its thing, and it's mostly stayed in the center for quite a bit. Of course, I got a few rounds at the bottom and a little bit more at the top, so they're about almost evenly So these are pretty, despite for just having just basic stat with the attachments and no skills, these akimbo pistols are really powerful. I mean, I did test these out on PC when I was, well, playing with Tom as we were going for like at least some of the 2-player achievements where we did with the big oil on Overkill, where we had to use the akimbo M9s, and well, these things are definitely powerful. And honestly, Italians make some excellent handguns. Hell, I would love to have a pasta-made M9 and load up with some Lamborghini rounds. Alright, jokes aside, let's actually, I'll cover up my stealth pistol of this weapon too. And I can tell you, it looks similar to this version. See you in a second. And here's my stealth M9, which I use it for train heists where I want to keep the saw and I still want to have more concealment as possible. Plus, I figured, or on other heists where ragdoll physics is not really necessary to carry a silenced judge. But let's see how this thing goes. Well, yeah, you could definitely tell it's a little bit quiet, and well, definitely a good weapon to have, especially if you want to have a weapon for lots of concealment. Yeah, this is the only type of weapon I don't use a team boost on, where I want to have it for fully concealed if I pair it with the saw. Alright, now I'll give you guys my overall view of the M9. I'll see you back at the lobby. Overall, the M9 is an excellent pistol to have, and I'd say this is more strongly used for crits or dodge builds and stealth. There's probably other effective pistol to use in the armor build, but the M9 is definitely a very reliable pistol for any build you have. And after all, I feel like this pistol is very similar to the Cooper Kurtz, which basically are quite tied to each other, except for, well, the Walford PPK has only 44 accuracy and a threat of 4. But everything else just kind of remained the same, but bear in mind that the Walford PPK does not have extended mags, but it does have a cool laser grip attachment, where the M9 doesn't. So that's like barely the best comparison with the other pistols I have. The other ones are quite probably similar, but the M9 just kind of blows the other ones out of the water in terms of the low damage pistols. I do say the Colt Defender pistol definitely has some, at least try to be a little more different, has a little bit more ammo, but not much, a larger mag, but a little bit less ammo, better accuracy, better threat, but it's still, but overall, it's still a very interesting weapon to choose. And of course, the Glock 17 is just get outclassed in like every other way. But a definitely fun, a very fun low damage pistol. It's really fun, but of course with new pistols out, the M9 has mostly not been used much. Mainly due to its, of course on PC there's a lot more pistols now, because almost every DLC weapon they release in 2020 and 2021, it's always been with a pistol. Like you got I think it's called the Ferraris or Fidel's weapon pack, which are considered the free full auto pistol, and one of them is the M93 or Fika. And then you have a weapon that's a pistol that shoots AP rounds. You have revolvers. It's just really, and there's a weapon that has full auto. So the weapon does not have anything unique to it, but it is probably the most reliable pistol to have. It's a very fun pistol to have. It's a good pistol to have. And I would say it's a fun pistol to have. Plus, it's a free pistol. Everyone has access to it. So if you can't get the Wolfer PPK, which is part of the Armor Transport heist on PC, you can always rely on the M9, which is still have way better concealment, and plus has just overall much better stats. And thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, farewell, and have a wonderful day, everyone.